Hey everyone, welcome back to CyberSecurityTV, another episode of the API penetration test. This week we're going to talk about the insecure direct object reference, although we're going to also talk about some of the hashing techniques of the MD5 and some issues with the weak cryptography, sensitive data in the clear text, and all those things into this one episode. However, it's going to focus more on the insecure direct object reference. So the first thing first is we all know about the API top 10, and one of the the first ranked item is broken object level authorization. In the simpler term, what it means is one is allowed to access the object by breaking authorization model of the APIs, which of course they don't have access to, and that's what we're gonna see today. The other thing we want to discuss or see the demo of is the weak encryption cryptography. So we all know our focus is going to be mostly on the hashing, and we all know hashing is a one-way technique to encrypt or maintain the integrity of the data. So how it really works is generally all the login accounts or the username password that the user sign up for, we hash it and then we store it. We do not ever store in the clear text. At least we should not store in the clear text. And then when the user comes back for the login or authentication, we hash their input and then match against the hashes. If it matches, then yeah, access granted, otherwise denied. So that's what we're gonna see today, how the hashing can be used to find some vulnerabilities. And then last thing, we're also going to see the sensitive data in the clear text. Sometimes this is not just for specific to APIs, but this is applicable to the APIs. Sometimes in the response of the APIs, you would find some sensitive data, and that might be in the clear text, and that's why we should be looking for when we are doing the API pen test. All right, so let's not waste time and let's head on to our demo. All right, so first off, we have these APIs that we were using in the past, and usually how it works is we provide the username and password for the login, and then if the login is successful, we'll be given the token. Then we can use that token to get the user information, right? First off, let's just make sure our proxy is configured. So I'll just go to the settings here and go to the proxy, add a custom proxy, which looks good. Let's open up the burst suite. By the way, this is the newer version of the burst suite. I think the latest version, 2020.12, and that's why the UI is a bit changed. Okay, let me cancel it right now. Go to the proxy and go to the options. Okay, our proxy is running. Intercept is on. Okay. So first off, what we're gonna do is let's set this let's receive the token. So here we are sending the okay. Now I don't need this anymore. I'll just pass it on the repeater. And as you can see, if I send the username and password, I'll receive the token. Now, usually you wouldn't know if how the application is generating the token unless you have access to the gray box, or you are able to see the application code, or you have access to the developers who has developed the application, and you can ask them all bunch of questions. So here, because I have written this, I know the code, how the token is generated is through MD5. Now we need to, first thing we need to see that MD5 is a weak hashing algorithm. There are much other algorithms that are recommended. MD5 has collision and other issues, vulnerabilities. That's why it's not recommended. But anyway, in our purpose, what we are trying to find here is there a way we can, probably, of course, there is no way you can dehash or unhash the token, but at least we can gather some information. So how we're gonna do is, I'm gonna take this token and let's see. Let's try to go to the MD5 hash generator, okay, and I'm gonna keep this token somewhere here in the new tab. And And also, by the way, link to this page is into the description, and also link to the Facebook, so you can follow the regular updates on the channel. So, so my typical guess is, let's say, we'll just type some random name and see what the hash comes out. So this hash, the last four digit is 1FC3, which does not match here. Now we do know we generated the hash for the user attacker, or the name of the user was attacker, or the username was attacker. Now if you see this token actually matches with this one, and the easier way to compare is you just type here and see it matches with this token. So now we know the token is based on the username of the account, right, which is attacker. And now if we go back to our postman, and let's say we call the get user with the same token that we just got, we send it, and we received the of course the account details, where the username is attacker, email ID is this, token is this, and password is attacker. Now the same way you can, now the vulnerability here is we can guess, or we can generate the other token for the user. So for example, you can do some user enumeration attack, where you can find out based on forgot password page whether the user exists on the system. Once you have the access to the username, which is not very difficult to guess, from my perspective, once you have it, you do the MD5 hash of it, and then once you pass that, and then you get the user details. So for example, of course I don't have any other user in the system, I believe, but so if I had to do it, so probably let's try admin, right? Let's generate a hash, and let's go back here, right? And let me just pass this token and send. Okay, it says no data found with this token. So at least we know now we can do some scripting, and we can generate the hash. There are so many programs out there where you can automate. You just give a bunch of random list, and then it will give the MD5 hash, and then you of course configure. That's the reason we use buff for this one, right? So if I intercept on, if I make a request again, and if I send it to intruder, and then on the payloads I put the list, I put the hash list, and then I make 1,000 requests, and I'll be able to access so many user accounts once I'm able to guess the username. Now another issue that I don't know if you have noticed or not, when we were sending, so for example if I go back here, let me copy this token. If you see here, the password came out in the clear text. So of course this is something that should not happen. Sometimes you would see in the API, because developer will tend to do this. They would assume that okay, this is not something used by the user interface, so people won't see it. But still, one can, who has access to the APIs, they'll be able to see this in the clear text. So this is bad, because not just the password, but any sensitive information, like you are storing credit card information, for example. Let's say you are storing a social security number, or any your bank details or anything. You should not give back in the clear text. So that's one issue. The other issue that I can also see here is, the reason I can see the password in the clear text is because password is not being hashed in the backend. Right? Because if the password were being stored in the hashes, there is no way an application can tell me, or API can tell me what my password was, because even the application doesn't know my password. It's one way. You cannot dehash things. So that's the second issue. That's actually third issue that I noticed with this API. So when you're doing this sort of API pen test, make sure you are focused on the every request, every response. Try to enumerate all the parameters. Do as much fuzzing as you can do. Observe the response as closely as possible, and based on that, you can uncover so many vulnerabilities. And of course, you can use when you use the buff suite, you will find out many other things like, oh, why it is showing me the server version information, right? And then you also play around with the content type. You can also try some like cache vulnerability and like all the stuff that we have learned so far in the web application pen test. So these are like some of the best practices to test when you're doing the API pen test. And that's what I wanted to cover in this video. Hopefully, you learn something and apply in your practice. In case you are not able to, you're stuck anywhere, feel free to ping me. I'll be happy to help. Thank you for your time. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for regular updates for weekly episodes, and follow me on Facebook. I put the link in the description, and also I'll see you all next Monday with another interesting topic. Till then, happy hacking. Bye.